Welcome to our presentation on how to eliminate the attachments bulge in ACT. So what is the attachments bulge? The attachments bulge is when a multitude of attachments are inserted into a contact history, notes, and documents, such as email, automatic attachment of emails, etc. The attachments bulge is normal in a regular ACT to use an operation. It just happens. The database gets bigger and the attachments folder gets bigger as well. The large number of entries in the attachments folder negatively impacts ACT speed and reliability. If you only, in the past, you only had a few attachments, now you have automatic integration of email, of just about all data gets automatically integrated. So you, over time, you start getting a folder that is over 30 gig of data that is going to negatively impact ACT. Attachments bulge causes a full backup of ACT to fail. So when you do a full backup and it's 30 gig, Windows only supports files up to 4 gig in size, and you're going to have a multiple file backup. It's going to fail over time. And what we've seen is if you succeed to back up all the files, there's a very high probability that the restore will not succeed. So you think you got a backup when you go to restore, and the restore does not succeed because there's way too many files. And no matter what you do, the attachments bulge will cause the hard drive to ultimately fail due to the large entries in one folder's or a single folder's NTFS file table. So what is our solution in 123 Attachment Organizer for ACT? We replace attachments in ACT with a hyperlink that links to a common shared network drive. It's pretty cool because you'll see the link there, just click on it and the file opens. So when we copy the attachment to the network drive, the 123 Attachment Organizer does the following. It sorts the attachments in a tree structure for easy retrieval, organization, and backup. And it removes the attachments from ACT and replaces it with a hyperlink. So let's see how it looks on the folder after you've done a organization with this product. So what you'll see here, you'll see that 2016 is the root folder, and then you'll see 3 of the folders, and this is as we're running from January through March, and you'll see 1, 2, 3, and after that, for each month, you'll have all the attachments in one folder, and the attachments are saved properly. A couple of notes. The 123 Attachment Organizer does not create shortcuts to the attachments. It creates hyperlinks. So you don't have shortcuts that are replaced, because the shortcut still is the same number of entries on the table on the hard drive, which will cause it to fail. Which is what I just said. Still resides the attachment folder, will cause a complete breakdown due to overpopulation of the folder on the hard drive. And the 123 Attachment Organizer can be scheduled to run in the background. So you can run it, once a day or once every hour, and it will take whatever attachments have been attached and then basically hyperlink him to the common network folder. Let's look at our famous demo contact, Chris Huffman. And here we've set up a couple of attachments for demonstration purposes. So let's look at, we put an attachment in the notes. Here's the attachment, and it's a Word file. So if you just click on that, on the Word file, it will come up. And basically, this is the Word file that we have. And we just close that. And that's the attachment that we're going to optimize. And then we also have in history, we have a Word doc in history as well, and an email as well. So here's the email. If we click here, there's the email. It's a .msg, and it opens. So, and then we have here, it's another Word file on the history. And note on the right-hand side, let's look over here. We've just entered some text in here, But this is where you're going to be seeing the hyperlink. And the same thing with the history, with the notes. You'll be seeing the hyperlink on this part of the item. And then on the documents, it's interesting because in the documents, we have a path. And what you will see on the path is a new path where it's hyperlinked to. So this is basically, this is embedded into the Act attachments folder at the moment. And what we will convert this is into a shortcut that goes into this path in the documents piece of the contact. So here we are on 123 attachment organizer for Act. So we've already opened the database with the password and the username. So now we need to browse to the destination folder. When you browse, make sure that you always choose the network drive, or if you're doing local, you can choose the C drive. In our process here, we're going to go to a public, and we're going to call it shared attachments. So here, this is where we're going to put all the shared attachments. Now that we've backed up the database, we just go to Organize, click on the button, and it tells us make a backup of your software. We've done this before we decided to run the software. Do you want to organize? So we say yes. And it runs, it organizes the database, and it says attachment organization is done. So now you're done. So now let's go and have a look and see how our Act looks. Now that we're back in Act, let's press F5 to refresh all the notes, and then we'll click here. There we go. So we look here, now the attachment icon is no longer present. And what you'll find here is a hyperlink to the attachment that is on the network. So we just click on that. And by clicking on it, now we open the attachment just directly from the hyperlink. So now you're saving, there's no more attachment files in the Act attachment folder. So click on the history, the same thing. No longer do you see the text, and it says this is an attachment. Just click on this, and now it will open the message for you. So very much better for Act. Your Act is going to run faster, and your attachments folder will not overburden the Act interface and the system, and crash for that matter. And last but not least, let's look at the documents. On the documents now, you'll have the document, instead of being local, now it is on a network file, so everybody has access to that document, and it becomes a shared file for everybody. Let's go to our shared files, and you'll see in the shared attachment, 2016 is the date where we created the attachments, and the ones we're playing with are on the 4th in April. And you'll find here all the attachments that we've actually been putting there. And these attachments are for the whole database. To finalize, let's just go to the Act database where it keeps all the data. So we're using the Act demo, the 2016 database. We'll click here, and the attachments is the one that will crash your system. So we'll click on attachment, and it's completely empty. So these files have been now sorted into a date form into the network drive for the whole database, and you just keep running the 123 attachment, and it will just put all the data to the network drive and enter hyperlinks. This finalizes our presentation on 123 attachment organizer for Act, and enjoy and do a lot of fast acting.